am Dr. Rahul Kaushik, and today we are going to cover our next topic of our fourth unit, which is artemisinin. So today we are going to cover the industrial production, the estimation and utilization of our phytoconstituent artemisinin. Artemisinin, if you look at the structure, it's a sesquiterpene lactone, and it is isolated from the leaves of the plant Artemisia annua, and this plant belongs to the family Asteraceae. So if you look at the structure, chemically you can see it is a 1,2,4 trioxane and a lactone ring. So it is a combination of 1,2,4 trioxane and a lactone ring, and it has also got a endoperoxide bridge. This is an endoperoxide bridge. This endoperoxide bridge is very important and it is very crucial for its mechanism of action, which we will be covering in our coming slides. So it's a artemisinin is a sesquiterpene lactone, and it is isolated from Artemisia annua, and the plant belongs to the family Asteraceae. It's a white color solid. Chemically we have seen that it has got a endoperoxide bridge, and it helps in its activation while it enters in your body. As far as the distribution of this plant is concerned, it is distributed geographically and it is native to temperate Asia, but it is naturalized in many countries including scattered parts of North America due to its medicinal importance. Since the plant is very effective in malaria, so the plant is being widely cultivated in various tropical countries also, like India and Africa as well as South America. If we since here we are concerned about the isolation of phytoconstituent, so we must know the solubility parameters of our phytoconstituent, in which solvents our phytoconstituent is soluble. So we have to use these solvents for isolation of our phytoconstituent from the crude drug. So here solubility, we have seen that the compound is soluble in acetone, in ethanol, in ether and petroleum ether, as well as alkali solution, but it is insoluble in water. So it is very important to mention here that it is insoluble in water. So it has got a poor water solubility. Uses, you can see it is an excellent anti-malarial and anti-cancer. So artemisinin is an excellent anti-malarial and an excellent anti-cancer. These are the pictures of our of the plant from which we have to isolate our compound phytoconstituent artemisinin. So this is the leaf. This is the leaf of our. It's a compound leaf. It's a compound leaf, and if you see its cultivation in the fields, it is cultivated like this, and from these leaves we have to isolate or we separate our phytoconstituent artemisinin. So in the picture you can see that there are the dried leaves, and from these dried leaves we isolate our phytoconstituent, which is a white colored purified crystals of our compound artemisinin. Since we are concerned about the phytoconstituent level, so we must know the mechanism of action, how our phytoconstituent is going to act in our body. So if we look at the mechanism of action, you can see that these compounds have the presence of endoperoxide bridge, as we have already seen in the previous slides. This is the endoperoxide bridge, and this endoperoxide bridge, it is very important, it is very essential for the activation of this phytoconstituent artemisinin. This endoperoxide bridge, it interacts with the heme in the parasite. The parasite, it is parasite of malaria. This heme, the heme in the blood of parasite, the heme iron, it cleaves the endoperoxide bridge there is a cleavage of endoperoxide bridge by the heme molecule, and there is a generation of highly reactive free radical which damages the parasite membrane by covalently binding to the membrane protein. If you can see in the picture, this is the artemisinin and this is the endoperoxide bridge. There is activation iron, the heme cause the breakage of this endoperoxide bridge, and after breakdown this endoperoxide bridge, this chemical is getting converted into free radical. This free radical is highly reactive and it causes the it binds to the membrane protein of our parasite, and it blocks the functioning or division of the parasite. So, in this way our phytoconstituent artemisinin acts on in the body. So, what are the three steps? The activation by heme molecule, formation of your free radical, highly reactive free radical, and covalently binding of this highly reactive free radical with the heme protein and inactivation of the parasite's activity. Moving on to the next slide, production techniques. Here what we use the dried leaves of our drug Artemisia annua. The dried leaves, they are powdered and they are macerated with methanol for 60 minutes and the mixture is filtered. The filtrate is then evaporated under vacuum up to 100 ml. This mixture or this filtrate is then washed with N-hexane in a separating funnel. Likewise, we have done in previous lecture. Separating funnel is used for washing, it is used for separation of phytoconstituent from one liquid to another liquid. So, it get partitioned, the phytoconstituent get partitioned into the liquids in the liquids on the basis of its partition coefficient. So, methanol layer which generally available at the top, the upper layer it is then collected, and to this we have added 50 ml of water. So, we have taken the powdered leaves, we have macerated it with methanol for 60 minutes and then filtered. The filtrate is then concentrated under vacuum up to 100 ml. It is then washed with N-hexane in a separating funnel, and the methanolic layer in the separating funnel, which is generally upper layer, it is collected, and to this collected layer we add 50 ml of water. The hydroalcoholic mixture of methanol and water is washed again with ethyl acetate. The semipolar layer, that the ethyl acetate fraction, it is collected and the solvent is evaporated using vacuum to get the crude artemisinin. So, what happens here? The phytoconstituent, it is first isolated in methanol, it is then transferred into the hydroalcoholic layer after washing with the N-hexane. The motto of washing with N-hexane is to remove the waxes, the fatty material or the coloring pigments which are available in the which are also present in the dried leaves powder. Leaves, because they are green in color, they contains chlorophyll, they contains fatty matter, they contain waxes. So, after washing with N-hexane, all those matters, all those waxes, fats and coloring pigment, they will be isolated first. After isolation of these things, we have got the methanolic extract with our artemisinin only and few other compounds. After ethyl acetate washing with hydroalcoholic solution, what happens here? The artemisinin, it get transferred to the ethyl acetate fraction, and after concentrating the ethyl acetate fraction, we get our crude artemisinin, and the from this crude artemisinin we get the pure artemisinin after further purification using column chromatography technique. There is identification of the compound, we have isolated the compound. So, what is the surety that we have isolated the same compound which we are intended for? So, here we can see chemical identification test for artemisinin. We took the sample and we treated with ferric chloride or sodium iodide, and the development of deep violet color, it shows the presence of artemisinin in the sample. Also, there is another test where artemisinin reacts with the triphenyl phosphine to give triphenyl phosphine oxide, and there is a color change. There is a color change which can be detected as the presence of artemisinin in the sample, and it happens, the color change happens due to the oxidation of the endoperoxide ring. This is the Soxhlet apparatus we have already discussed in our previous lecture also. So, it contains three parts. It is the reservoir, solvent reservoir, this is the extractor. We place our drug for here in the extractor in the form of thimble. We prepare thimble. Thimble generally it is made up of filter paper, cellulose filter paper. We pack the cellulose filter paper and we put the packet of filter paper with the drug into this extractor, and it is having third assembly which is condenser. So, what happen here in this Soxhlet apparatus, the vapors of the solvent which we have used for isolation, they gets evaporated after application of heat source. This is the heat source. After application of heat, the vapors they get evaporated and they migrate through this side tube into the extractor. In the extractor, they as soon as they enter the extractor, they try to escape out of the condenser, and as soon as they reaches the condenser, here is a inlet of cold water, and due to the cold environment, the vapors they get condensed, and the droplets, these droplets they fall over the drug which is packed in the form of thimble, and continuous dropping or dipping of solvent onto the thimble or the packed drug, it causes the extraction of the drug in the particular solvent. So, this is as soon as the extractor it fills up to this height, there is a tube, side tube which is called as siphon tube, and through this siphon tube the solvent re-enters, extract plus solvent, it re-enters into the reservoir. So, in this way your Soxhlet apparatus is going to work in the extraction. This is the functioning of separating funnel. This separating funnel is used to isolate two immiscible liquids along with their dissolved phytoconstituents. We can also transfer dissolved phytoconstituent from one phase or from one liquid to another on the basis of its partition coefficient. So, here what happens, suppose we have to isolate a non-polar compound from a polar solvent. So, we have a solution of polar solvent where we have a non-polar solute. So, what we can do, we can use a non-polar solvent, we mix the non-polar solvent and the polar solvent with the non-polar solute. So, what happened, the non-polar solute it get migrated into the non-polar solvent, and after the migration of non-polar solute to the non-polar solvent, we separate the polar solvent and the non-polar solvent with the non-polar solute. So, in this way this is an excellent, or you can say this is a perfect technique for isolation or for separation of two immiscible liquids, and the mechanism is natural. There is no involvement of any further chemicals or any other reagents. The phenomena is natural, and the separation takes place on the basis of their partition coefficient. This is the rotary vacuum evaporator. Here we apply the heat. This is the rotating round bottom flask, and this round bottom flask it rotates on its axis. Simultaneously, it is having the heat supply from the bottom. The hot water bath it evaporate the solvent present in the round bottom flask. We put the filtrates from which we have to separate the solvent, or we have to evaporate the solvent in the round bottom flask. The round bottom flask it is revolving on its axis. Simultaneously, the round bottom flask is having a mechanism of vacuum, and due to that vacuum, the solvent vapors they evaporated at a boiling at a lower boiling point. or at a lower vaporization point, or you can say the solvent, it vaporizes at a very low temperature. Suppose a solvent which vaporizes at 80 degrees Celsius, here after application of vacuum, that solvent vapors can be evaporated at a temperature of 40 to 60 degrees Celsius, and this helps in preservation of the thermolabile phytoconstituent which we are going to isolate. So, this is very important instrument for phytochemistry point of view, because mostly phytochemicals, they are thermolabile, they get degraded at high temperature. So, in this technique, or through this instrument, we can achieve two mottos. First, recovery of solvent, and we have the thermal protection of our phytoconstituent. So, what we have achieved here, we have saved our phytoconstituent from the high temperature. Also, we have recovered the solvent, and that solvent we can utilize that solvent again and again for our further isolation procedures. So, this rotary vacuum evaporator is very important instrument. Rotation involved, vacuum involved, and evaporation involved. That is why it is named as rotary vacuum evaporator. If we look at the physical properties of artemisinin, since we have isolated our phytoconstituent in the previous slides, here we have isolated our phytoconstituent. White powder we have isolated, and what is the surety that this white powder is your phytoconstituent artemisinin? So, to confirm that, we have done the chemical identification test, and the simple chemical identification test does not give the guarantee that the compound is your artemisinin. So, for that we have to study the physical properties also. In the physical properties, if we look at the physical property, it has got a melting point of 156 to 157 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of artemisinin is about 344.94 degrees Celsius. The compound artemisinin is soluble in 100 millimolar DMSO and 75 millimolar in ethanol. So, this is the quantity which is resolved in DMSO and your ethanol, 100 millimolar in DMSO and 75 millimolar in ethanol. So, it has got a excellent solubility in dimethyl sulfoxide. Density, it is having equal density as water, 1.0984 density. The storage temperature for purified artemisinin is around 4 degrees Celsius. If we want to store the purified artemisinin, we have to maintain the temperature of plus 4 degrees Celsius for the proper storage of our phytoconstituent. If we look at the form of artemisinin, it occurs in the form of white to off-white crystalline solid powder. Water solubility, as we have already seen in our previous slide, it is insoluble in water. The phytoconstituent artemisinin is insoluble in water, and it has got a lambda max value of 214 to 216 nanometers. Lambda max means the wavelength, the UV wavelength at which our phytoconstituent shows the maximum absorbance of ultraviolet radiations. Moving on to our next slide, here is the we have done the production. We have now we have to move on to the estimation. We have isolated the phytoconstituent, and now we have to confirm the identity of phytoconstituent using estimation technique or analysis technique using TLC, thin layer chromatography, and high pressure liquid chromatography. In TLC, we can see that we have in the previously also we have used a pre-coated silica gel plate. Here silica gel 60 GF 254 pre-coated plates we have used for our TLC analysis. Mobile phase, here we have used N-hexane and diethyl ether in the ratio of 6:5 volume by volume. Flow rate is not applicable for thin layer chromatography. Detection of our phytoconstituent in the thin layer chromatography is done using a derivatizing reagent, which is glycyl acetic acid sulfuric acid and anisaldehyde combination in the ratio of 100:2:1. This combination is sprayed onto the plate we have developed, on the TLC plate we have developed. Under these conditions, we got the retention factor value for our phytoconstant artemisinin at RF value of 0.20. So, here the sample was prepared by dissolving 1 mg of drug, in which we have to estimate the compound artemisinin in 50 ml of mobile phase. The standard we have prepared by dissolving 1 mg of our artemisinin standard in 10 ml of mobile phase. Another technique for estimation of our phytoconstant, HPLC, high pressure liquid chromatography. Here also likewise we have studied in our previous lecture. Sunfire, it is the brand name of the column. Here we have used the C18 column. We have used the octadecyl silane. We have used the octadecyl silane. There is a silica particle, packing of silica particle, and this is coated with the polymer. This polymer is having 18 carbon atom in its structure. So, that is why we termed the column as C18 column. So, what we do we use the C18, we have used the C18 column, and we have packed our column using silica gel which is coated with C18 polymer. The pore size here in C18 column is about 5 micrometer. We have used the mobile phase acetonitrile water in the ratio of 85:15, and we have performed the isocratic elution. Isocratic elution, throughout the elution or throughout the analysis we have used the same mobile phase. If it will be gradient elution, then we have used the different mobile phases at different times of elution. Here the flow rate of the mobile phase through the column was maintained at 1 ml per minute, and the injection volume for our drug was 20 microliter. We have injected 20 microliter of the sample drug into the column. The detector of HPLC was set at 216 nanometers, and under these conditions we have got the peak on our chromatogram after 4.68 minutes. This is the retention time. Retention time, in other terms, it can be defined as the time which a compound is spent in the column before being detected at the detector. So, here sample we have prepared by dissolving 5 grams of drug artemisinin leaves, which is refluxed with anhexane twice and filtered. The filtrate is then concentrated, and the volume of the concentrate was make up using mobile phase up to 1 mg per ml. This 1 mg per ml sample was injected into the HPLC column, and your detection of our sample was made at 216 nanometer using UV detector. The standard was prepared by dissolving 1 mg of your artemisinin in 10 ml of mobile phase, which is acetonitrile water in the ratio of 85:15. We have dissolved our standard artemisinin in the mobile phase. So, this is the peak of artemisinin we have obtained. This peak was observed after 4.68 minutes. You can see in the picture, this is the peak at 4.68 minute after injection of your sample. So, this is the HPLC chromatogram of artemisinin. There are other peaks also. These peaks can be other unknown compounds. Or impurities, in case if you get these in case of standards. So, this is the chromatogram of artemisinin. Moving on to the HPTLC analysis, we have used Camag Linomet V5 automated TLC applicator. We have used Camag twin trough glass chamber. We have used TLC scanner Camag. Camag is the brand name of HPTLC manufacturers. Kamag, they are largest manufacturers of HPTLC throughout the world. Here we have used a stationary phase, which is pre-coated silica gel plates, 60F254 HPTLC plates we have used, and we have applied the sample using nitrogen gas, which is an inert gas. Mobile phase, here for HPTLC analysis we have used N-hexane ethyl acetate in the ratio of 75:25. So we have performed the TLC analysis. Here also we have performed the TLC analysis. We have used N-hexane diethyl ether, and here also we have performed the TLC analysis, and here we have used N-hexane ethyl acetate. So the solvent system, it varies from the technique to technique which we are going to perform. The saturation time for TLC chamber is about 10 minutes. We have run the plate for about 25 minutes at room temperature. The mobile phase, it ran from the point of application up to a height of 8 centimeter or 80 millimeter. The derivatizing reagent here we have used is anisaldehyd sulfuric acid. We have used the anisaldehyd sulfuric acid as derivatizing reagent. After derivatization, we have to heat the plate in oven at 105 degrees Celsius, and after that we visualize the plate under ultraviolet radiation using a scanner. So you can see here we have got the spots of artemisinin, and this is the peak of artemisinin which is isolated in the HPTLC chromatogram. So this is the technique. HPTLC is the most widely usable technique for phytochemical screening or phytochemical studies. Then coming on to the utilization of artemisinin. Artemisinin, it is obtained from the Artemisia annua. It is an excellent anti-malarial compound, excellent anti-malarial compound, and it is especially prescribed in case of uncomplicated and chloroquine resistant falciparum malaria infection and in case of cerebral malaria. So this drug is a drug of choice in case your malaria is resistant to the chloroquine and the complications are not much there. For myotonia cognitia, the dose for artemisinin is about 300 to 600 mg twice a day or thrice a day. It can also be used for the treatment of or the management of nocturnal muscle cramps. Nocturnal muscle cramps are those muscle cramps where while sleeping you got the muscle cramps and you wake up. So for such conditions we can use artemisinin in the dose of 200 to 300 mg before sleeping, and you can easily manage your nocturnal muscular cramps. Then it is an excellent anti-cancer drug. Artemisinin is an excellent anti-cancer drug. It can also be used for treatment of hemorrhoids and spermicidal in vaginal cream. It can also be used as abortifacient or as an spermicidal in case of in the vaginal creams. So this is all about artemisinin. Thank you so much for your patience. In the coming lecture we will discuss more about our next compound, and which is caffeine. In caffeine we will study about industrial production, its estimation and its utilization part. Thank you so much.